Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Picked up right where I left off last season, or last episode. I just snuck in here and dropped off all the stuff that I had collected on my adventure down in that mine. Got a good amount of redstone and whatnot, so I'm happy about that. Now I want to go check out my rubber trees. Looks like they've already started growing, which is pretty good. I'm going to hopefully be able to get some more saplings off these guys and expand my rubber tree farm, because as you know, rubber is pretty important in industrial craft, especially when you're just starting off. Now it looks like I got a pretty nice bit of rubber tree growth right here. Already got myself a sapling, so that's good. Let's see what else I've got in this rubber tree for me. This episode I want to get started with industrial craft. It's typically where I start off. I've noticed that a lot of the mods have different things that they balance around. Some mods use diamonds, some mods use iron, other mods use other ores and whatnot. Because industrial craft uses iron, and more often than not, you're going to find iron first off, it's a good place to start. Of course, I need rubber to get started on that, which is why I'm spending some time right now. Let me tidy up these leaves, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, all cleaned up here, got myself a few saplings, which is of course very nice. I'm going to start planting these guys down. Let's say, maybe right here would be a good spot. I'm going to have to clean this field up a little bit, but I went with 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks between the rubber tree saplings. So, nice looking little rubber tree farm here, starting up. I'll let these 3 grow, and maybe I'm going to run over and just check on those 2 rubber trees, which I did not chop down, which are way on the other side of my volcano. And since that's going to be a bit of a run, I'll be back. Only one little resin spot had respawned over there, so I collected the resin from it. Now let's head back to our house. You can also see that I didn't put a roof on my house just yet. Wait until I have a little bit more resources. I tend to like to have skylights on the roof of my house so that all the sunlight comes in. So, let's get in here, drop off our resin, among other things that I collected, and get started building on some industrial craft stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do here, actually I need to do something even before I do my first thing, and that's grab those 3 rubies that I got earlier. My emerald pickaxe just broke on me, so I might as well make a new one. Ruby pickaxe. Birdie. I think I should expand this house a little bit. I like to start off with one room where I tend to, have my bed and everything, and then move on to another room where I can have all my machining and whatnot. So, why don't I get myself another here ruby shovel. And like I said, red power doesn't have much use for these gems just yet. It's something that's going to be available in future versions of red power. Elaram just gave us some really good world gen stuff going on in the earlier versions, so we don't have to regenerate our worlds every time she releases an update. That should look pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is basically just expand my house a little bit. Probably going to be a little bit boring to watch, so why don't I get started building it. There we go, that should be 9 long. Looks good to me. And I'll probably just come back after I finish this room off. I'll be right back. Alright guys, just straightening up this house, finishing it up. Got the room pretty well built here, just going to lay down the flooring. Again, I will be upgrading from cobblestone rooms this time. I know in episode 2 I never did get around to upgrading my initial house from cobblestone, but some of the new toys and equivalent exchange will make that very easy. And believe me, I can't wait to get a hold of some of the new equivalent exchange stuff that we've got going on here. But first priority for me right now is to build a generator. And for that, I'm going to need a good amount of iron. So let's grab ourselves some iron, some copper. I don't need my silver just yet. I do need my tin. Let's see. Definitely a good amount of coal, some resin, and some redstone. That should be all I need for now to get started. And I'll drop off any excess cobblestone I've got right here. Also drop off all this dirt and junk that I don't need in my inventory. cool. Anybody who wants to know how I automatically sort my chest, that's a common question that I get. That's convenient inventory doing that. You just need to middle click and it'll sort items inside a chest or your inventory. Pretty awesome. There is currently a bug in the version of convenient inventory that I'm using, it looks like. If you open up your convenient inventory config file, which is in the root of your .minecraft folder, you'll notice there's two sort buttons. There's a setting for sorting, which is M2, which is your middle mouse button, and then there's a sort_Mac. Well, for whatever reason, even Windows computers seem to be using the sort_Mac. So if you're having problems sorting your chest, change that line in your config file for convenient inventory. The sort_Mac should equal M2, capital M. Alright, so without further ado, let's get building on some of this stuff. I'm going to cook myself up just a bit more iron than I currently have. I'm probably also going to need a serious amount of it. And meanwhile, while I'm cooking up my iron, some of the iron ingots I made earlier, I'm going to convert into refined iron. Refined iron is a type of material used mostly in industrial craft, and it allows us to build some machines. So instead of sitting here and watching progress bars move, I'll come back once I've gotten all the resources I need to build what I want. And just finishing up with some refined iron here, I'm going to go ahead and start cooking up some tin ore. Now that we've got some tin, I'm going to go ahead and cook up just a bit of copper. Alright, now that I've got some resin, I think the first thing I want to do is get 6 pieces of rubber. Unfortunately, the least efficient way to make rubber from sticky resin is by throwing it in a furnace. You get 1 piece of rubber per sticky resin, but don't worry, we're going to have a little bit more luck with that in the future as soon as I build one of my first machines. Seeing as how rubber is currently the thing I'm least full of, I'm probably going to have to go ahead and upgrade and get an extractor first. So why don't I get ready to build the extractor? So I think we're making progress here with our refined iron, our copper, our tin. Almost got enough rubber here, so let's start building some of the things we're going to need. Seeing how it's getting dark out, I should probably start putting some torches in my house here, just to prevent any enemies from spawning. One of the tricky things about running with this brightness mode as high as it is it's hard sometimes to tell how dark your rooms really are. So let's grab ourselves some coal. I've got a good amount in my inventory, I'm good. Okay. That should be good for now. I just want to make myself a few more torches before we get started. Alright, one of the first items I'm going to build, and I'm going to need 1 more piece of sticky resin I forgot about, is the generator. In order to build a generator, first we need a furnace. Now there's 2 ways to build a generator. You can use an iron furnace. Why don't I just show you in here. Recipe for the generator is either a machine block, which is 8 pieces of refined iron, or this recipe here, which is 3 pieces of refined iron, and the iron furnace, which is 5 pieces of iron. So either way, you're using the same number of iron, so it doesn't matter. In older recipes, that other recipe was a little bit cheaper, but in this version, it's not, so we're going to stick with it. And we're just going to take a machine block, which is crafted with 8 pieces of refined iron. There we go. And we'll place our furnace on top of that. And then one more thing we're going to need. We need some copper wiring. So make some copper uninsulated wiring. And to insulate your copper, you're going to need some rubber. Rubber plus copper equals copper cable. This is the stuff that's used for all the recipes. And I'm going to go ahead and get some more uninsulated stuff for now, because I'm going to need at least 1 more piece of rubber. There we go. And part of what I'm going to make with that rubber is a battery, which is tin, redstone, and 1 copper cable. There you go. This battery can store energy, but for now I'm using it as part of my design to get a generator. Generators are going to produce energy from fuel sources like coal. So that is going to power our machines. The next machine I need to make now is the extractor. In order to make that, I'm going to need this item right here called an electronic circuit. And if we look at the recipe for the extractor, we can see we're going to need another machine block, which is 8 more pieces, that electronic circuit I just made, and 4 more tree taps. So why don't we get started building that guy. I'm going to need a little bit more refined iron, which should be cooking up right here. Also going to need some wood, which I have somewhere around. Probably going to need more wood than this, so why don't I grab a little bit more, just to be ready. There's my 4 tree taps. And now I can combine that refined iron that I grabbed. Take my machine block and my tree taps. And now I've got the extractor. Perfect. Let's run right over here and place down our generator right in the corner. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. Now, in order to generate electricity, we need to burn some coal. So I'm just going to place some coal in there. And you'll note that now it's running and producing energy, and the energy in the generator is going to be stored right here. But I also want to power this extractor. Because I placed the extractor right next to the generator, it's going to immediately get power from it, but anything further away needs to be connected with a cable. Now I can place my sticky resin inside, and it's going to start extracting the sticky resin and give me 3 pieces of rubber each. So now that that's running and everybody's happy about it, especially me, I'll be back in a few minutes. So as you can see, we're getting a good amount of rubber here, and the next machine I like to make first off is the macerator. I'm going to need some flint, some cobble, another machine block, and another electronic circuit. So I'm probably going to have to, unfortunately, cook up a little bit more iron. Looks like I'm going to need 3 more iron here, and get those cooked up into refined iron. While I'm waiting, I can take the rubber that I just got from my extractor there and get some copper cabling. Pretty good. From that, I can make my next electronic circuit. There we go. And I'll grab some of this refined iron in a moment as soon as it's ready. I'm also going to need some flint, which you can see I got some while I was mining earlier, so that's good. Wait for this guy to be refined iron and I'll be right back. You guys might note that my extractor stopped running, and that's because I only placed 1 piece of coal in my generator, so the generator ran out of all the fuel. So let's put a little bit more coal in there to make sure that it has enough power to run. This guy will keep burning up the coal as long as it needs. And there's my refined iron, so I'm ready to get a macerator. So let's place this guy down. Machine block in the middle with an electronic circuit underneath. Cobble on the sides, and the flint along the top. And the macerator is a nice machine. I'm going to go place it down right next to my extractor for now. But you'll notice it's not getting power, and I can place my blocks in there, but nothing's going to happen. So now I have to actually go down under the floorboards here and start running some copper cabling. Your generator is going to always export power. Notice that as soon as I connected the cabling from the generator to the macerator, it started running. It's got enough power now, and it's going to take 1 piece of tin ore and convert it into 2 pieces of tin dust. It does the same for iron and copper and any other types of ore that are available out in the world. There we go. So I'm going to let that run for a few minutes and I'll be back. And as you guys can see, I'm getting a lot more rubber now because I'm using this extractor as opposed to just burning up my rubber. My generator's doing a pretty good job, but I'm going to need to upgrade a little something there soon. I've also got my tin ore cooking down into some tin dust, and I think I've got enough tin dust now, probably, that I can probably switch this out for iron ore. So let's let the macerator macerate some iron for me, and I'll be back in a few moments because I want to build a couple more industrial craft machines. Now that I've got a good amount of tin dust, I decided to macerate a bit more. I'm going to cook it up in my furnace. The furnace isn't exactly the fastest item to use for this process, but it's going to work out well for me, just for now. I'm macerating some more iron dust because the next thing I want to build is an energy storage device. It's nice that this generator here is running, but I'm currently wasting a little bit of energy as a result of the fact that I'm not storing the excess energy being produced anywhere. And my extractor and macerator aren't quite using all the energy that the generator is creating just yet. Soon, though, I'm going to have more machines than my 1 generator can handle, so I want to be prepared for that. So for now, I'm going to cook up some tin, and I'll be right back. Alright, just got my 12th piece of tin here from cooking that up, and I'm going to need to use that right now to make myself 3 batteries. So I'm going to actually need a little bit more copper than I currently have cooked up and ready. So how about I go macerate some, and I'll be back. Alright, got myself enough copper to make a few more copper wires. I'm going to need 3 rubber wires. and some redstone. Next up, I want to make a bat box here, and I want to show you guys a neat little feature of NEI. If you open up the recipe for the bat box by hitting the R button while you have a crafting table open, you see you get this little question mark here. If you click on that, it's going to show you a little invisible screen, kind of like showing you how the crafting table needs to be laid out in order to build this item. So first off, I need to get myself another piece of rubber and copper cabling right there like so. Fill in the wood as requested and some rechargeable batteries. And now I've got a bat box. Sweet. So let's go decide where we're going to place our bat box. But in order to place down this bat box, we're going to have to probably move this generator, because I tend to like to have my energy storage devices on the same line horizontally as all this good stuff. So in order to move these items, we're going to have to craft ourselves a wrench. A wrench is made with bronze, which, as you can see, bronze dust is made with the following recipe of copper and tin dust. Now that we've got some bronze dust, I'm going to cook it up in my furnace. Alright, bronze is ready. Just craft your bronze like so, and you've got a wrench. This is what's going to allow you to move your industrial craft items. If you try and break them with a pickaxe, they'll be destroyed or down converted. So I took my coal out of here, and I don't want to waste the small amount of energy that I've built up. So I'm going to let the macerator use up all the energy stored in my generator at the moment, and once it's out of power, I'll move it. Just slept through the night, waiting for all the iron to macerate, and I decided to come outside and check on my tree farm. Looks like some rubber tree growth did occur. Got some resin spots respawning back on my old rubber tree, so that's good. Skeleton in the distance there trying to mess with me. He's got nothing on Direwolf. And as usual, I'm just going to break all these leaves and hope for some rubber tree saplings so I can expand this farm even more. But I did get a rubber tree resin spot, which is nice. Very cool. And I'll meet you guys back in my house after I knock off all these leaves. Alright, back inside. Gonna throw my sticky resin in my extractor. It's got enough, a little bit of internal storage here, but obviously the generator is empty, my macerator has stopped running, and the extractor is about to run out of juice itself. So let's get this guy off there. Hopefully I lucked out with getting a generator back. I think I did though. Yep. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is leave that copper cable right there. And I'm going to place down my bat box like so. Now you'll notice the bat box has this little orange dot side. That's your export side. So that's where all the energy is going to be coming out of. Any energy stored in this bat box, as you can see, it stores 40,000 energy units. And the bat box you can orientate by right-clicking on one of the faces, and it'll automatically orient the output face in that direction. But if you alt right-click on it, it'll randomly rotate. And shift right-click will rotate it opposite of the direction that you're currently facing. So that way, we can ensure that we've got the little output face on the bottom of the box, which is what we want. We want all the energy in this bat box to be output to the copper cables and then sent to the machines down there. So let's get out of this little hole that we dug, cover the floor back up, and now that we need some energy in there, we can hook our generator up right next to it. Why don't we just place one right here? That should be good. Now any energy we start producing will go into the bat box, and then will be exported to the machines adjacent. As you can see, they're starting to power back up and run again. And any excess energy that this thing starts to build will be stored inside the bat box, which is going to be really useful later on as I start putting more machines along this line, because the generator won't be able to power them by itself, but the internal storage of the bat box will have enough energy to keep them going for a short time. Eventually I'm going to have more generators to power more machines. Alright, the next item I want to make is an electric furnace. A furnace that runs off electricity. Simple, straightforward. I need an iron furnace, and as you guys saw, the iron furnace is crafted like so. Take a regular furnace and 5 pieces of iron around it, and then I can upgrade that using an electronic circuit and some redstone. So let's make sure that I've got what I need here. Looks like I'm going to need some more iron. Good thing I have some iron dust to cook up. And I'm going to need at least a little bit more copper, and probably some more rubber. I've got enough of that for now, though. But definitely want to get myself another iron ingot, refined iron. Oh good, I have some iron. Cool. Probably have a little bit Plenty of iron right now then, so let's get ourselves some copper dust. Gonna need 6 of those for now. Alright, enough copper for now. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some of those copper wires. Cool. I'm going to need to make, as I said, another one of those electronic circuits, using that one piece of refined iron I cooked up. And then I'm going to grab a furnace here and upgrade it to an iron furnace. If you guys want, you can use the iron furnace. It's a little bit more efficient in terms of its coal use. So instead of getting 8 items cooked for one piece of coal, I think you get 10. So it's about 25% more efficient. It's also a bit faster, but as you guys know, I like the electric furnace, and that's crafted like so. There we go, electric furnace. And I've got some copper cabling here, which is good, because I'm going to need to lay it down right next to this line. Run my copper cable first, and then place down the furnace. Good deal. Now I can throw my iron dust in there, and it's cooked with the magic of electricity. Sweet. Grab all the rubber I got. So electricity will cook your stuff now. And the good thing about using electricity to cook things is you're not going to be wasting coal. So the last few times that I cooked things, for example, you saw me cook one piece of iron, well that used an entire piece of coal. That was a bit of a waste to do, right? So now, cooking with the energy of your electric furnace, your generator won't run unless it needs to create energy, and the bat box here is going to keep things powered up. So it's a little bit more efficient, especially once you get into some solar power or some other things to help power your machines. So I've got a healthy amount of machining going on here. I think it's time to go do some mining. I'm going to go on a little mining expedition and see what kind of goodies I can find down in that cave that I discovered earlier. It looks like it's getting dark out anyway, so I should probably head down into this cave. Like I said, I don't typically like to show mining, so I'm going to hold off on the filming until I find something interesting to show you guys, or, whatever. For now, just imagine me with a ruby pickaxe going on a hunt for some diamonds. Whoa, look at this! It just so happens that this is a slime spawning chunk. Hooray! Aw, no slime. But that's good news, the fact that this is a slime spawning chunk, at least somewhere in here, in this vicinity. That means I'm going to get some slimes in the area, and that's really exciting. I literally just came down the stairs of my base and found that slimer there. See, there's my stairs. So that is really exciting news. And a creeper. Not as exciting as a slime, of course, but, that's cool. Exploring a little cave down here, I found a sniper. Look at this guy, thinks he can get me. I think not, Mr. Skeleton. Wahaha. Also found gold. Ooh, first gold find. Oh my, look at that. See? Reasons you don't dig straight down. Always be careful where you're digging. I think I found a little bit. Yeah, there's some more gold. I knew I saw some as I was coming into this little cave area. Ooh, nice amount of gold too. And some sapphire. Perfect. Ooh, silver. This little cave is just a maze of wonders. Alright, I'll be back. Oh, and I think I just found a new item that you guys haven't seen yet before. That looks like coal, right? But if you have a good discerning eye, I think I'm right about this. Yes, that's not coal. That's actually tungsten ore. I don't think there's anything you can do with tungsten yet. But it's an item that's going to be used later on in Red Power. Again, one of those ores that were added to the game before it had a function, but that's a good thing because it means you don't have to regenerate a world when that function does get added. So if you do see tungsten, go ahead and grab it. It's pretty rare. It's commonly just found at the very low depths of the world. I'd say it's not quite as rare as diamond, but probably the rarest of the Red Power ores. Again, it looks very similar to coal, but you might be able to tell a slight difference if you're paying attention between the coal and the tungsten texture. And woot, more gold. Now if I could just find some diamond, I'd really be happy. Remember to mine out all around a ore resource that you find, or any kind of resource in the earth, because ores do tend to spawn near each other. So as you can see, I just followed a path of coal, which led to tin, which led to gold, which led to iron and redstone. So keep digging around there and you'll find some good stuff. And this is just the way that vanilla Minecraft spawns its ores. They tend to spawn in groups. And I had a pretty good expedition here. Quite a bit of resources that I collected. Almost broke my ruby axe here, but I got a few more, I think, rubies and some sapphires, so that's good. I'll be able to make some more of these pickaxes, at least until I find some diamonds and work my way up to a drill from Industrial Craft. I'll meet you guys back at my house. And I figured as I'm on my way back to my house anyway, why don't I just craft myself a new one of these little tree taps, and I should go visit my rubber tree farm. Looks like I've had some growth back there, which is a good sign. And if I really want to get a lot of rubber, I could go start attacking those Red Power 2 rubber trees. I can put that wood in my extractor and get 1 rubber per wood. Without an extractor, you can convert them into sticks for now. Doesn't look like I've had much in the way of resin spot regeneration, so that's a little sad and depressing, but that's alright. I'll at least get some saplings out of this guy, and hopefully I got some resin spots on him. Maybe not. No such luck here. Some rubber trees do spawn without any resin spots, and I'll have to keep in mind this one didn't have any, and just give it a little time to make sure that there really isn't any that I'm not missing. You know, I'll come back and maybe chop them down entirely, but wow, no resin. Oh well. Okay, I'm definitely going to need a storage room at some point here. I've got a bunch of junk that I've collected. Need to place it somewhere. For now, I'm just going to throw it in these chests. But lots of ore to macerate, of course, and that's going to take a little while just because of the fact that ore maceration is slow early on in the game. But let's get started with it. What do you say? Could probably even build a second macerator soon. So I think my next priority right now, because I have so many resources, only 2 machines to macerate and cook with, I'm going to go ahead and craft 2 more, or well, 1 more each, of macerator and an electric furnace, so I'll have 2 of each. That's going to be pretty good for me. I do need more flint, and I don't have any of that, so I'm going to throw my gravel in my macerator here. And gravel will macerate into flint, so I'll let that run for a moment, and while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and run over here and start crafting up what I need. Got myself a machine block, that's good. Want to cook up my copper dust to get some copper ore to make the wires that I need, and there you go, piece of flint. I'm going to need 3 of those, as you guys remember from the last time I built this thing, all about 5 minutes ago. And why don't I make sure I have my copper cables in place and ready. Now, since I've started to get a good amount of length out of these copper cables, it's actually going to start losing energy. Let's see, I'm currently running a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Copper cables start having energy resistance after a length of 4, I believe it is. So I'm going to wind up costing myself a little bit more energy, but there's really nothing I can do about that at this time because of how early on in the game I'm at. So I'm going to have to kind of just put up with it. Further along in the game, I'll have some other stuff that I can go with. So let's get our iron macerating once more and cooking up. Always going to need a good amount of iron. And craft myself some more wiring. There we go. Oh, I forgot a resource. Which reminds me I should probably upgrade this chest at some point, or this crafting table. Probably could do it pretty soon, actually. I can even do it now. Maybe after this. So I've got the electronic circuits I'm going to need. I've got my machine block. So let's go first with the machine block, the electronic circuit, flint along the top, and the cobblestone. Got myself a macerator. That's cool. And I'm going to just take one of these furnaces. I don't need 2 furnaces sitting here after all. Let's not be wasteful with resources. Iron. And an electric furnace. So let's see what's going on with our bat box now. You can see our bat box is already having a little trouble keeping up with the load. Probably put some more coal in him and that'll help it out. There we go. But with all these extra machines now, we might start running into speed problems, but we'll deal with that probably in the next episode. So for now, I think it's getting close to a pretty good wrapping up point, but before I do wrap up, why don't I make one more change in my factory here. I'm going to make myself 4 wooden sticks, or 4 sets of sticks, and I'm going to convert these sticks into wooden gears. This is an item from Buildcraft, which is going to allow me to take a crafting table and convert this to an automatic crafting table. The purpose of the automatic crafting table is to automatically craft things and pull them out of the resources you need out of chests, and be able to pump the items out using the Buildcraft piping system. But a neat little trick to use here is to use your automatic crafting table pretty much as a crafting table as usual. That way, if you're like me, who forgets resources all the time, and you decide, let's say I want to make another ruby pickaxe. Oh wait, I forgot sticks. You can close out of the crafting table, go get yourself a couple of sticks, and then come back, and the rubies are still there. And then you can get your ruby pickaxe, and continue along. I'm going to need that guy anyway, so I might as well make him. So this is a good wrapping up point for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of season 3 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. Catch up with me next time in episode 3, where I'll definitely be doing some more industrial craft stuff, and maybe I'll even be able to get started on some other mods and doing some other cool things. But for now, I'll just be macerating and cooking up all this ore that I collected earlier in the episode. Take it easy!